Last time on Realm of the Gods, Murder on the Airship Express. Serenity introduced the gang to David the Ghost, who is going to be their guide through the realm of darkness. Now David, he's your classic bedsheet kind of floaty guy. Doesn't really say much. Bryathar winds up playing poker with Terry and the Ice Wolves, while the rest of the gang, well, they're busy convincing Horus to take a day off work and join them in their dark adventures, even though he's definitely not thrilled to be there. The gang manages to persuade Serenity to come along too. Bryathar wraps up the round of power, successfully snagging a handful of dog biscuits. Then, in true Bryathar fashion, he tries to drink David's ectoplasm with a straw, but yeah, that doesn't work out. Meanwhile, Ringo, who's even more obsessed with gathering souls than usual, learns that the Ice Wolves are pledges to the Ice Wolf god, and of course Terry is tied up with the Sasquatch god. Suddenly there's a commotion in the background. The gang finds Bryathar trying to capture David with a vacuum, just like that famous green-hatted plumber with a mansion. Wild times. The gang loads into their Airship 2.0 and takes off. Before too long they cross the veil, and wouldn't you know it, it's dark. They power on the Huitzilopochtli lantern, but the bad news is it's powered by living sacrifices. The good news? There are a ton of wraiths heading their way that they can use for fuel. Wait, that's the good news? As the wraiths descend upon the ship, everyone gets into their battle positions. Horus takes the wheel and pilots the craft, Lascius hops on the giant mallet, Reno mans the solar beam, Nolene starts firing the plasma cannons, and Bryathar grabs a jetpack and uses his trusty vacuum cleaner to, well, suck up all the ghosts. Bryathar and Nolene are just tearing through them, but Ringo and Lascius are off to a rough start. As the wraiths make contact, they start seeing visions. Ringo sees a hideous vision of teaming up with Colonel Panders to launch a new line of baby red panda nuggets, while Lascius sees himself giving up on shoes to do, and I quote, other things. Absolute insanity. The wraith assaults pick up as even more start flooding in. Nolene gets hit with a wraith and sees Hercules forget her name, calling her Aileen's friend. Then Hercules says they've been going out for a while and invites her to be a third wheel. Lascius moves to the deck to try some hand-to-hand combat since the mallet just isn't cutting it. But yeah, that doesn't work either, and more wraiths get through, hitting Lascius with even more terrible visions, culminating in the ultimate horror, Lascius eating shoes, just like Fud Fud. Ringo uses his Elven to make it so Hephaestus also gave him a flashbang grenade. The wraith waves hit their peak as Ringo lets loose the grenade, giving the gang a little breathing room, but it's only a short break before the wraiths close in again. Bryathar empties his vacuum into the Huitzilopochtli lantern, powering up the light enough that the wraiths finally subside. Serenity passes out turnip plushies that heal mental stress with a simple hug, and honestly, Lascius needed most of them. The airship arrives at the headquarters of Shady Activities, and after trying to peer inside, the gang heads through the door. They're greeted by a lamp-headed entity in a really cool duster who introduces himself as Lampeus. He invites everyone in for dinner. Lascius has au gratin potatoes, Nolene enjoys some delicious Quetzalcoatl venom soup, Bryathar gets a tire cooked to perfection, Serenity has a watermelon fruit salad, and Ringo, well, he gets a leek. Lampeus hears about Somad's fate and reveals that this is an escalation from another organization that wants to destroy the Dark Realm and throw the multiverse out of balance with unending light. An agent of light was almost certainly responsible for Somad's murder. As the gang leaves Shady Activities, Horus rips open a portal to warn Athena about what happened to Somad. Then a story pops up on the television, revealing that Orko the Orc, famous for shows like Stop That Orc and the sitcom Help. My Mother is an Orc, has passed away from his wounds. The gang also learns about the underworld as a possible point of interest. Maybe they could go there, talk to Sumed and learn clues about his assailant, and Lascius could finally figure out who Sweepin' Steve was. Just as they're about to head out, Ringo remembers that they should probably collect the liquid darkness they were supposed to retrieve, and yeah, he does that. The gang arrives at the Library of Knowledge and finds Horus wounded, sporting multiple stab wounds, and Athena now suited up in armor and ready for battle. Turns out, Horus was attacked by someone wielding a god-slaying weapon, kinda like the fruit-slaying dagger that Cyril supplied, and to make things even worse, the gang finds out they're banned from the grocery store. How terrible is that? Athena pledges that there will be vengeance for their buddy Horus, and the gang is all in. The session ends with a bunch of questions. Which sun deities are working with the conspirators of the light? Who tried to kill Horus? And most importantly, will the gang ever be able to return to their beloved unnamed generic grocery store? Find out next time on Realm of the Gods, Murder on the Airship Express.